and welcome back to another episode of Catch That, where we get to talk to people who are in the music industry or surrounding the music industry, and we just break down albums and eras and everything else in between. We are the R&B representatives. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my bro,
JR.
And today we are bringing a person very, very special to us, like y'all don't even know. Yeah. And she is, Chasity. She is the creator and runner and genius behind Midnight R&B. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did. Midnight R&B
edition. It felt wrong, so I had to. Yes. But yes, it's an amazing platform. Like she talks to the people that are behind every favorite thing that you listen to from multiple eras. So and she researches. We call her Dart Junior, because she has that mind. Like she wants the right information and she wants to know it from the beginning to the end and everything in between. So we appreciate that because everybody doesn't have that research mind. So that's a dope trait. But anywho, we're gonna be talking to her. And JR, hey, how are you, Miss Chasity?
At least I'm good, y'all. I'm good. I'm happy to be here, excited tonight just to talk about this album that I love, my second favorite album. I had to do my hair for y'all. I don't wear my real natural. So
you getting the natural today, baby. Yes.
I had to keep it real for the real.
Oh. Catch all of it.
But I'm really happy to be here tonight. I'm super, super happy. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. And JR.
Yes.
You know what to do. What album are we going to be talking about today and why?
Okay, so today we are talking about Usher's Confessions. My God. With Chasity, we did a 30-minute episode with her, and we talked about Vanessa Williams Saved the Best for Last. So I was like, sis, we got to get her back on. Like, I was like, Chasity, you got to come back on. But this time, you into music like us. We can't get you for no 30 minutes, like at all. Like, no, we cannot have 30 minutes. So I was like, yo, what album would you want to talk about? And she was like, yo, I want to talk about Confessions. Has anybody talked about it yet? And I said, no, nobody has talked about it yet. And I was like, wow. And we're close to the anniversary. So I was like, this will be great. So this episode, y'all, we're going to talk about everything Confessions, Usher. So you're going to get all that, a little shade here and there. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a dope, dope episode. So I want to start with, the first thing I want to start with you, sis, is honestly, when did you get introduced to Usher, period?
Usher. That's what I call him, Usher.
Usher.
Honest, for me, Usher, excuse me, I won't say Usher all the time because, Lord, that's the Southern accent.
Yes.
Well, I got introduced to Usher at 1997. It was actually on the sophomore album, My Way. It's crazy because I thought this was his debut album when he first came out because that's how I was introduced to Usher because, he was in that teen era with Brandy, Monica, Aaliyah. I'm thinking when I seen this guy, I'm like, oh, who is this? Wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Okay, I was like, okay, he had dance move, had the young baby face going on. I mean, when he did You Make Me One, I was like, okay, I watched it on the box when I was very, very young. And I was like, yes, now we have a young guy that's really making waves. I'm like, okay, he's dope. He looks like a teenager, but not even that. He's just really like a Michael Jackson, a little young Michael coming up in the 90s. And for me, when I see You Make Me One, I was like, okay, he's dope. I wonder what he's coming out with next. But when he came out with Nice and Slow, I was like, yeah, I like this guy. He's dope. I mean, I remember him, Tyrese, they were really like those two guys that I looked up to back then growing up. Mm-hmm. So when I seen those two male R&B crooners coming out, I was like, okay, this is cool, but I love people who can dance. And so with Usher, for me, he had the moves, he had the look, he had the voice. I was really like, yeah, dope. I feel for me, my favorite song that I really love by Usher from My Way is Bedtime, the live version. And a lot of people don't talk about that because for me, Bedtime Live version, it was another slow jam record that I liked by Usher. But not even that, when he performed it live, I love the dance moves. I love how the girls were really like, you know, gravitating to him. But me at 8 years old, I'm starting to get into like Usher, like, okay, this is kind of, okay, liking type of stages. You're young, you know, you're getting into
You think he's just a cute,
the dimples. I mean, he was just out there. But for me, My Way was really I feel for me, the album that really recognized Usher for who he was. Because for me, I didn't know about the first album he made back in, I think it was, 94. And know about that, I should say, in the early 2000s when BET used to play Thank You a lot. So for me, I was like, wait a minute, okay, he came out in 90, what? And I was shocked because for me, the way Usher really, really made a career or started his big success was with My Way. So it was kind of like confusing, but I think when you go back and listen to his catalog, okay, he was like 14, I guess 13, 14 when he came through. And then all of a sudden you see him coming out and I'm like, okay, that first album didn't do so well, but I think My Way was really like the connection to the young kid.
Yeah.
So that's how I got introduced to Usher.
So you seeing with that, with the transition from My Way to 8701, what did you think of that transition? Because now it's like, because he's also, people got to understand too, before 8701, Usher had a couple of joints that was a little, you was a little nervous about this 8701 era. You was a little nervous because Pop Your Collar was out, and it was like that video was ooh-wee. But but it was like, you know, Candy was, everybody was getting the pin from her. So it was like, yeah, he was into that. And it was like, oh no. And L.A. Reid said, no, you need to take your behind to Minnesota. You need to take your behind to Minnesota and work with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Because this here, this ain't curling quite right. No. So what did you think of that transition?
Well, to me, I feel like when we got into the 21st century, the sound was changing. So I was starting to trying to get connected to the sound because, you know, for me, I'm trying to think of R&B as slow jam records, but we're in the 2000s. These slow jam records are turning into like R&B hip hop-ish type of records. And I remember in the 2000s, it's crazy because like I told y'all from the last episode we did with Vanessa, I had just moved to Louisiana when Usher came with 8701. So I'm literally starting my life. Sound music is changing, but I'm kind of connected to him, but I'm kind of not connected to him because for me, Destiny Child was coming out with Independent Women Part 1, and that was huge. So, you know, them more on the level. But then again, I'm not even sure what's going on in 2001 because I'm just hearing them. Then you got 3 of them, you got all these girl groups, and then all of a sudden, You Remind Me comes out, and I'm like, wait a minute. Usher's coming out with an album? I'm like, okay, wait. And those for me started connecting with Usher because now his videos are kind of being like cinematic. You know what I'm saying? They're starting to make a lot of sense versus with My Way was just like dancing and singing, but more you kind of seeing like some cinematography where he's kind of relating to his real life into these songs. You know what I'm saying? With You Remind Me, with You Got It Bad. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, with Usher, I kind of seen the transition of the sound with him, but Pop Your Collar is crazy, y'all. Like you said, Pop Your Collar. I never really actually heard Pop Your Collar to like 2 or 3 years later because I don't know if you know this, rumor has it that he was actually supposed to get Just a Friend, the Mario song.
Yeah, he did it. He did it.
Right, and I actually love it. I love his version. I do.
Really?
I do, but not like Mario. Mario's still my husband. He's still my husband. But at the same time, I thought it was very interesting they was trying to keep him safe. And I'm like, Usher's an adult. So I think when you're trying to get somebody who was in their 20s, you don't want to get them in this kiddish stage. I'm not saying Usher wasn't a kid, but he was actually becoming a young adult. He was, what, 21, 22? Trying to get, I guess, to gravitate to the youth in some type of way. You can kind of get that way, but think about it, you have to have some adult content to make it happen. So for me, I feel like for Usher, when he was coming out with You Remind Me, it was dope. But I think You Got It Bad was the one that hit through. And I was like, this is the Usher I want, the ballad Usher. You know what I'm saying? The adult Usher. But at the same time, I'm literally in my young teens, you know, learning about life and about love. And Usher's connecting me to You Got It Bad. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I was like, this is it. And so I think for me, when you had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis make Can You Help Me, that right there touched me.
Come on, sis.
And I was like, wait a minute, hold up, can you help me? was everything. And that's why I said for me, those heartbreak ballads with Brian Michael Cox and all those kind of made sense to me versus to My Way back in those times. You know what I'm saying? Because now he's getting older, I'm getting older, I'm starting to learn today about boys. So it's like for me, he's connecting with me on an emotional level for 8701 versus with My Way. I was a young child and learned about him through his dance moves and stuff. So that's for me with that.
Right. Because
you know what you got it bad part 2 is on Confessions.
Oh, what you think?
Burn.
Girl, yes. Yep. Yes.
That was I feel like that song was on there to give you some 8701 feel. So you're like, oh, Usher.
That's true.
Like that was
true.
like a connector.
I agree with that. I agree with that too. And it's just, going with 8701 again, like you said, since he was growing into he was a man on 8701. Like he done been through some shit. He done been through experiences. With My Way, he was a teenager, but it was still very kiddish. You know what I'm saying? Like it was very kiddish. You make me want to lead a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like it was very kiddish. It was very Chris Brown exclusive era that he got it from. But anyway, I'm just saying.
I was waiting for that. That train's never late.
Come on, sis, you know me. You know I was gonna do it. You know I was gonna do it.
I was waiting. Yeah.
It's just the fact that it was like Usher became a man. His voice was definitely changing. And that's when Terry Lewis came in there. It was like, you need to work on your voice. Like, this is how you do it. You know what I'm saying? This is how you work on your voice. This is how this goes. So when your song's like, You Remind Me, it makes sense. Because if you think about You Make Me Wanna, he's telling you, I want to leave the girl I'm with to be with you, but you remind me of a girl that I once knew. Like, it's a whole...
It was his playing stage where he's like, you getting out there.
Yeah.
You're not doing shit, but you out there. You know.
Yeah.
But we all think of the age. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, so that's why I think a lot of people with 8701, because a lot of people be like, that's their favorite. 8701 compared to Confessions. And I get it, because him being a grown man, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, Can You Help Me was just like, oof. Oh my God. Like vocally, he was better on this album, everything, because like since we did an episode with somebody and we said that Jermaine Dupri was not the best vocal producer because he wasn't like for Escape, because he let them go all over the place. If you listen to My Way and the way it's produced, he's more concerned about the production than Usher's vocal performance, even though it's fine, but it's still, but you could tell the difference vocally on My Way and 8701. It's a complete difference because Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis is involved. You know what I'm saying? And you know they don't play games. Look who they got. Janet, who's stacking and all this kind of, they don't play with her. So when Usher came, it was like, boom, this joint is dope. You know what I'm saying? So that was a transition. It was like, oh yeah, Usher, he gonna be here and he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. And bro, it was #1 hit because for it to be a rock group, you know, it showed that Usher had staying power at that time too, because he was making a way. And it's crazy because I was like 8701, you know, that was 6 days after my 12th birthday. So I'm like, oh, Usher, that was so sweet of you. Thank you. You know. But I love it. And I just thought it was dope that I think he just navigated that. But like I said, y'all, I got to see the side. I feel like this 8701, since we're kind of talking about it a little bit, it was kind of like predestined of Shelly and Usher's relationship of what was to happen for Confessions. Because when I was at 8701, I feel like that was the Confessions at that time, but we got to see the writing on Confessions with writing on Confessions with 8701, because in that time they were talking about breaking up, but they didn't break up, they were getting together. And when you look at the, they broke up. So I kind of like feel like it was the predestined of the breakup for Confessions. That's how I feel about that.
I get you. Oh, for sure. So then we get to the album that we're going to discuss, Confessions. So when the rollout and everything happened, did y'all know it was gonna be as big as it was? When you first heard Usher come out with this new album, you knew it was coming with it. Did you think after hearing Yeah that it was going to be this big, massive album that we got?
Mm-hmm.
You know, did y'all think that?
I didn't think that until single number 2.
Wow. You know what, to be honest,
I didn't get that from Yeah. Now, I love Yeah. Cause that's my time when I was partying. That I was in these clubs, sir and ma'am.
Come on.
In them all the way.
Yes,
Oh yeah. Mama gotta live. But no, like that's a song that played and everybody to the floor and like getting it, and it stayed around for a long time. That song.
Yeah.
That song wouldn't even leave. Like at one point I got sick of it and I didn't listen to it for a long time, but now I hear it and I'm fine. You know, like hey, just memories, you know.
Right.
To be honest, bro, at first, I'm gonna be honest. When Yeah came out, I didn't catch it, and I'm be honest because in 04, I was going through a lot of personal stuff at the time because me and my mom, we were kind of having our little differences, you know, young teenagers. 14.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So I remember, and this is crazy that we talk about this because I remember BCK had just broke up. This is the beginning of 04, so I wasn't sure where R&B was going at the time. I'm not saying them in general, but I'm just saying like I didn't really see what was going to happen. I'm be honest. But when I heard Yeah and I seen the video, I'm like, this video is dope. And then when I started seeing that MTV was playing it, BET was playing, I'm like, wait a minute, this started gaining traction. I'm like, okay, we got Little John on here. He's already taken over 03. And we talked about it, bro, about how the way he dominated 03, but I didn't see it at first. But I think you said you predicted it that you knew he was about to take over in 04, and I didn't see it until Yeah came out, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is starting to catch fire. And then when I seen the hood playing it and my family playing that barbecues, I'm like, it's gonna be a wrap for Usher.
For me, to be honest with y'all, Yeah actually didn't do it for me because being in New York, honestly, it was, you gotta remember, Usher album was supposed to come out at the end of 03.
Yeah.
So a lot of these songs leaked. So a lot of these songs leaked. So songs like Throwback leaked. Songs like Confessions Part 1 leaked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So finally, when I heard those songs, I was like, wait a minute, these shits is dope. And then when I heard Yeah, I was like, uh-oh. That's all I did. I was like, uh-oh. I was like, the South is about to take over. I said, the South is about to take over because they tried to find their way. Because again, this is the time, this is 2003 going into 2004. Who was popping? Ludacris, T.I., Little John and the East Side Boys was all over 106 and Park. They owned it. You had Lil Wayne and Cash Money running it. Like they were doing. So I was like, they're gonna find their way into R&B. I know it. I know it's fucking coming. I said, please. And when I heard Peace Up, dun, 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 I said, oh shit. I said, and we're here. I was like, and we're here. So I didn't think, but to me, I didn't think it was going to hit like that. I was like, nah, the R&B heads is gonna be like, man, fuck that song. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, fuck that. And maybe, baby, when that joint came, you heard it played every fucking way.
Like, like you said, like Lil Jon was in like a pocket. He was in the pocket at that moment in time.
Yes.
Like the world was his oyster in that very specific period. So
and he needed that R&B guy to help this because
I wonder why that hit so much. This is just a thought I had now. People wanted energy back in the mainstream like hip hop. I think that's I think a lot of energy. I think it got real lazy, and people wanted something to dance that they could actually dance to, not just bars. They wanted to have fun.
Right. At least Milkshake probably geared it too, because I started thinking Milkshake was huge at the time. So seeing Milkshake and all that stuff was like that. Do you think that R&B was getting into that dance round? That's how I feel about it looking back. Because I mean, she opened the door, so now Usher's in this lane of bringing the R&B and hip hop in there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I get that. I get Absolutely. That. It's just, you know, R&B at that time, we was R&B. It was no crunk in it. You know what I'm saying? There was no crunk because we're coming off of 2003. This is Beyonce's solo debut. This is Alicia Keys' Diary of Alicia Keys. Like, this is, you know what I'm saying? And we're slowly coming out of that quote unquote neo soul with Erica and, you know, Jill and India, and music is popping. So I'm like, this is great. But I'm like, Little John, like sis said, he was like in the pocket during this time. Like, nobody can touch Little John. What you gonna do? Shit, like, he was that guy. So I was like, he's gonna find a way to get into R&B some way, somehow. And when he found Usher, it was a wrap. And it's crazy because the label didn't really believe in it.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have, because R&B wasn't there. So they didn't believe in it. So Lil Jon said, I got something for y'all asses. I'm gonna leak it. I'm gonna leak it to the DJs. I'm gonna leak it to the clubs. And you know how that happened. Once the clubs catch on and all that, boom. And then it blew up, and then the label was like, oh, we got to get behind it. Let us get behind it. Usher, this is your first single. Because this song doesn't even fit the album to me, like, at all. Like, it doesn't. It's like, no, that's why it's the first song, and we can move on.
But you know the song, and this is one of my favorites on the album, and it might surprise you, which was the last single, Caught Up. It, you know, of course it's not a crunk, but it's actually a throwback that's updated and upbeat. Yeah. And so, like, that song, they played that in the club.
Yes, they did.
I didn't know that.
That song got the girls out there.
And at least I interviewed Ryan Toby. Y'all know
I was about to say, you better stunt. You better stunt. You better stunt.
Don't start. It's crazy, Lisa, that you said that, because I interviewed Ryan Toby last year for City High's album, and I talked to him about Caught Up. He said Usher hated the song. He hated it to his death. They had to make him dance in order to get the song to connect. That's how they had to make him get the song, because him and Pooh Bear, they were trying to find ways for him to connect, and Usher was not feeling caught up. He did not like it. So they was like they had to, I don't know who it was, they said it was, but it was somebody from the record. It was like, y'all got to get him to do this song, because this song is a dope song. And so they were like hyping Usher up, like, you know, Caught Up, come on, dance, because, you know, he's a dancer. So they was trying to, and like, I guess kind of, I'm not saying maneuver, but they had to kind of sell the record to Usher to make him, you know, get into it. But the dancing worked. So, but at least he didn't like that song at all. I was shocked too. I love Caught Up. I love it.
Yeah, that was the.
I mean, Usher like Pop Your Collar. Enough said. Are we gonna listen to what he has to say? Technically, I mean, but for real, like, one thing about Usher, his whole career, is that Usher has to be guided. He has to be guided on songs and the way albums are coming out, because we realizing that now with albums that he's doing and songs that he's picking, that he needs a team. You know what I mean? He needed L.A. Reid, because L.A. Reid told him, they took him to Jermaine Dupri, which was completely smart. L.A. Reid and them realized he needed Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis for this. You know what I'm saying? For 8701, let's send him there. He always needs to be guided. So I'm glad that somebody at the label was like, dude, Caught Up is that record. You know what I mean? Like, you need to do this record. Like, I think they force Usher to actually record the record, because they can be on some shit and tell you, if you don't record this record, we ain't gonna promote your album. Because a lot of people done went through that shit. So I'm glad that they forced Usher to record this record, because it fits the album perfectly. It makes you want to, especially after Burn. You need you need a record that's gonna get you, you know what I'm saying? Because Burn is so it's a ballad. You know what I'm saying? It's a ballad. You know what I'm saying? So you needed something like a Caught Up. You know what I mean? But I know we're gonna go in the burn, but
Well, we go to it now.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite song while you're playing Burn. It's my favorite song. Actually, it's crazy that you said that you don't like Burn, but Burn was a huge record for Usher. It was really
huge. I ain't gonna stunt because the label wanted that to be the first single.
No, that'd have been bad.
Bad.
That would have sunk that album in the water if it was first.
Yeah, I agree because that was a song that also leaked. So we heard it and it was just like, I was like, this sounds raw to me. Like that to me, like that's just me. I was just like, okay, Usher, really? This was You Got It Bad Part 2. Like y'all said, it was just like,
no, this is basically the same song.
I was just like, because I mean, I'm good when You Got It Bad. I'm like, okay, got it. Like when you throw on that joint and everybody is singing,
I love You Got It Bad. Yeah, I love You Got It Bad.
Yeah,
which I'm surprised because it's kind of a thin song, but I like it. I like the melody. And
exactly, that's what I thought I wouldn't like it either. But baby, when we got to Burn, I said, no, I'm good. I was like, it's too dry. It's not for me, but I get the record. It makes sense. It's a record. Like it's not a bad song. It just ain't appealing to me. You know what I mean? But if it wasn't on the album, then it would have been like, yeah, y'all fucking up. This song has to be on Confessions. You know what I mean? So I mean, Burn was the #1 record. I mean,
it was. No. For me, Burn.
I would not take it off the album at all. It has to be there. Right, like JR said, has to be there.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I agree in some ways, and I respect it too, JR, because a lot of people probably didn't. I think for me at the time, because Usher was on fire. Because when we got to Burn, for me, I was like, wow, he's going in his slow ballad jam. Because mind you, we got the dancing, but I didn't think he was going to bring a ballad out. I thought he was going to keep not saying dancing, but another fast record out. But when I heard, and then you got to think about, bro, this is at the time when him and Chili broke up. She was going off on the radio talking about he quote unquote cheated. So I'm like, oh, I need to hear what's going on because now we real tea. The shade room before the shade room, if you want to be honest.
Come on.
So when you're hearing in the records, and that's the thing, I don't know, at least it reminds me too, when I think about Confessions, do y'all ever get like a connection with the Miseducation Lauren, how she was speaking her truth about what she went through in her relationship with Wyclef? And then you think about Confessions, it's like when you're talking about your personal life, your personal relationship, you're open up to the world about what's going on. So when I think about Burn, I knew it was exactly about Chili. I'm like, okay, we're kind of seeing what kind of went down, what happened. Did he cheat? Did he not cheat? I mean, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? But to me, I think I was more worried about the lyrics and what was his life at the time because he had just broke up with Chili because we all knew they were together. So, like you said, at least it wasn't You Got a Bad Part 2 because it definitely connected with that and they had broke up. Right. But then I wanted to know, was this really like about him getting another girl pregnant, quote unquote?
Even though we were
I mean, that helped. That was promotion that they never could have paid for.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. Say how Tracy Lee said it. Say it.
Like, okay, I'm gonna say it. But like, yeah, it's like everything converged. So, you got Lil Jon, the hottest fish grease. And then you got the whole relationship all in the tabloids and stuff. And
it worked, even though we were hoodwinked because Confessions wasn't even about him. It was about Jermaine Dupri. That was his story. But anytime in interviews, Usher would be like, it's very close to me. He would always say it was very close. And it was like, and then what made this album so funny too is that Chili said the album was damn near done when they broke up.
That is, I think I heard that, y'all.
He was like, yo, like literally, because again, the album was supposed to come out at the end of 2003. So the album, these songs was already done. So she was like, when they was asking her doing the interview, like, these songs is about you, she was like, it couldn't have been because the album was already done when me and him me and him was still together when the album was done. Like, so she was like, this doesn't make any sense, but hey, if this is what you're gonna use, I ain't gonna stop your hustle. I mean, we good for controversy too. I mean, we use it. Hello, crazy.
Yeah, think of what group. They know about publicity.
Yeah, hello.
You know, they was the most, she was one of the most popular women ever in the world for a long time.
Okay.
TLC. So, you know, famous beyond belief, you know. So
yeah.
So she knew what was up, you know.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
She knew.
So speaking of that, we'll go to the next single off of the album, Confessions Part 2.
Yeah. I love Part 2.
You know.
No, really? When Confessions Part 2, when I first heard that on the radio, that's like a little bit during Burn, but when I heard Confessions Part 2, that's why I was like, it's gonna be fire, like R&B wise. I wasn't even thinking about the further reach.
Yeah,
I was like, ooh, my black folk gonna love this. Like, he's out of here. He's out of here.
And we played on R&B every freaking day. And when in Louisiana, we played it every day. No lie.
I heard that song so much.
I love Confessions Part 2. I do. I love it. I love it.
I heard it coming out of dudes' cars. Hood dudes' cars.
Yeah.
That's when you know you got one.
Oh, hello.
I mean, at least they did talk about it on Insecure, thinking that, when the girl got pregnant and all the chick on the side, we gotta navigate that to Insecure. So, black culture, we gotta touch everything that real is happening in real time.
Listen, because I love Part 2, because y'all gotta, and I didn't say this, but this is my prom year. So it's my Usher had 2018, 2004 on lock. So at my prom, Usher was played the whole time. Like,
I can't forget. Sometimes, because I talk to y'all so much, I forget that y'all are so much younger than me. Because when this was out, I was 25 years old. And me and Usher the same age.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so it's just funny. It's just funny hearing you like it's your prom or that you was in school and stuff like that, because I'm like, ooh, I was, like I said, that's when I was in the club.
Right.
Listening to
But it's crazy, at least, because when I was a freshman in high school, I really was in ninth grade, my second semester, about to be done. I was in the World Geography class with my teacher. I forgot what his name was. But he was so like young and cool, and we were singing. Yeah, he was like, "Can y'all please shut up? I can't stand that song." When you got the white people know.
I mean, the one that's on the for like 12 weeks.
Yeah, but it was shocking when he was like, "Can y'all?" Because we all were singing in the class, and he was like, "Can y'all please shut up?" I was like, "Ooh." So when he knew that song, when he knew that, he was like, "Yeah, the white folks is getting it too."
I mean, Confession Part 2, I like it, but I just love Confessions Part 1.
I agree.
I love Confessions Part 1, and they made it kind of like an interlude on the album before Confessions Part 2. I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. But we heard, again, Confessions Part 1 was leaked. So we knew Confessions Part 1. So when you got the album, because that day my mother said, take your black ass over to Best Buy and go get this album. She said, go get it, because she heard Throwback. So when she heard that, and she heard the Dionne Warwick sample, because that's her girl. And that's her girl. So she was like, go get it. So when we heard it, I'm waiting to hear Confessions Part 1. I'm like, you call the album Confessions, where's Part 1? And then you just hear the interlude, and I was like, nah, son. But then when you heard, I was like, okay. I was like, all right, fuck it. Okay, I ain't getting Confessions Part 1, but okay. But when they brought out the special edition, they made it Part 1. And then they added, we'll talk about that too. But
That's the one I bought, JR. That's the one I bought.
Yeah, that's the one you brought because they added Jadakiss to throwback, and I didn't need him. I didn't need Jadakiss.
Because Elise, you know, to be honest,
fine on it, but he didn't need it.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I didn't even know that Jadakiss wasn't even on the record at first. I had talked to Jared about that a month or two ago. I was like, he wasn't on the record because for years, since I knew the album was released, he's always been the feature. So for me, I was very shocked that it was just a solo song. I was like, what? Mm-hmm. Because I love him being on the record. It didn't do nothing for me because I feel like, to me, that's the sleeper. That's the sleeper album for me. Like, people don't talk about throwback like that. You know what I'm saying? But I love it.
They don't talk about throwback like that. Just Blaze, that
something that I was like, whoa.
Just Blaze was in his bag on that record.
Oh yeah.
He was in his bag on that. I was like, yes, Just Blaze. Like this here, it was like, that's when my mother was like, who is the producer of this? Like, who is this? And I'm like, Just Blaze. And she was like, now who he now?
Justin.
Yeah, like that. Who he? You know what I mean? So it's that, and then to have our guys, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, as the meat of this project. I feel like they're the meat of it, because I feel like with the hits with Burn and Confessions Part 1 and 2 and Yeah is the hit singles, but you need them dope ass album cuts to come right behind this, yo.
Yeah.
To make a body of work, you need some dope. And Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis came with the shits. Come on, with joints like Simple Things and Truth Hurts, like.
But Bad Girl, rap.
And they play that in the clubs, and that wasn't even a single.
Yes, they did.
Bad Girl been played in the club every time I went to the club when I finally got to college. Bad Girl. I don't care what nobody say. That song right there, I don't know what it is, but when I hear it, I get up and get the dancing, because for me, Bad Girl is the shit. I don't understand. That's another, I think, to me, one of my top 3 favorite album cuts is Bad Girl, Can You Handle It? Shout out to Robin Thicke. And I love that's what.
And you said who?
That's my jam.
That's
I love
the what?
That's
what it's made for.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that yeah. Can you handle? Ooh, can you handle it? Woo.
Rob.
I can go there, baby, with you. Ooh, I hear you talking to me. Yeah. Let me stop.
And it's crazy because Paula Abdul was the lady on the. I'm like, girl, what? Like.
But you know what? But y'all know what I think is asleep on this album?
Who vocally arranged Can You Handle It? I'm sorry. Who vocally arranged Can You Handle It?
Wait, Can You Handle It?
I
think it was Robin Thicke.
It was Robin Thicke.
You did that.
Oh,
yes, he did. Oh, yes.
You did
that.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And mind you, it came right after That's What It's Made For. So what it's made for is a nasty ass record.
That's what it's made for.
And I did not know
that section of the album is like my favorite section of the album. I don't know. It's just
it's just that nasty wine. That's what that is.
It's grown. It's so grown.
Yes, it's grown.
Elise and John, when he said, I said, hold up. Okay, but
it's yo, you got me thinking, yo, because right after Can't Handle It, the next record is Do It To Me.
Do It To Me. Can you feel you touch my body right out?
Girl. Girl. Now, Jermaine Dupri and B. Cox did that. That's the album cut that they bodied that. They bodied that. But y'all know what I think, again, y'all know what I think is a sleeper to me? Superstar.
Oh, yes, Lord.
Yes. And
that is a cut right there.
Woo! Baby.
And it's crazy. When I interviewed Ryan, Pooh Bear predicted that this album was going to be diamond. He knew this album was going to be diamond.
He did say that in the interview. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He said when he put Superstar in it, he was like, this album is going to be a diamond album. And Ryan thought he was crazy. He was like, you tripping. He was like, no. The way this album is hitting, and Superstar, he was like, he's going to go diamond. He knew.
Didn't have faith on them vocals, the backgrounds. Yeah. Oh, because nobody knew that then. But see, us folks up in these parts, read them liner notes. We looking.
Right, but I think Alicia John too, the interludes work perfectly for the album too.
Yeah.
Like the Superstar interlude was perfect. I mean, the introduction,
number one, I won't stop until I see you, sugar.
Yeah, I mean, and then I didn't even really think about the visual of Confession, y'all. I didn't know he was sitting in the confession. I'm like, oh, I didn't get that part. When you look at
wait a minute, I never noticed that shit.
If you look at the album cover, I didn't realize he was in a confessional. So I was like, oh, I
mean, it makes sense, but I never paid attention to that. Or after all these years, I've never paid attention to that.
In the background, child, I thought it was a back silhouette. I didn't know. But I think for me, at least, it's like when I think about the theme of this, of Confessions and the visual part and all that, it makes sense about how the album transitioned to so much about throwback. It's like the good times we had. Now I gotta be honest with you. Now I'm not telling the truth. I mean, I have simple things, you know. It's like he was telling us, Jermaine Dupri was telling his story through Usher.
Right.
And it's like, sitting back at it, it's like we love these sensual songs, but it really was speaking some truth to power, and I didn't even think about it back then at that time.
Oh yeah. And for this album just to be straight up R&B, no nothing to it. You know how I'm saying? Like, this is when mainstream should understand that, real R&B can sell.
Yes.
Even though, again, you have the, everything worked, like Elise said, the breakup, the, the blowing up like it did. Everything was just aligned for this album to really do well. And for an album, an R&B album because this shit was selling like Thriller, like for real, like it was. He sold, and mind you, this is during the Napster, Kazaa, LimeWire, and he sold 1 million in 1 week. 1 week. 1 week. And this is, mind you, this is, again, motherfuckers was getting this shit for free. Clearly, our black asses was going to motherfucking stores and buying this shit because how the hell, because people wasn't selling like that. Record sales was really going down because Napster was fucking up everybody.
It was.
And for this album to still do 1 million in 1 week.
And not shipped. Not just 1 million shipped.
Say that louder, sis. Say it again. Say it again, please.
Not just 1 million shipped.
Oh, yes.
And at least
people actually brought it.
And you know what's crazy? That's crazy you said shipped, because I looked today and I seen that he was the reason why albums were getting shipped. Yep. So how did
change the game again?
Change the game, and not even that. What I realized too, and I had to sit back and think too, y'all. And I know we're getting on to we're talking about Usher, but I sat back and think too. You know how everybody talks about 2000, like Brandy's Full Moon was like the blueprint of the vocal Bible. I feel like Confessions was the blueprint of 2000s R&B albums. You know what I'm saying? This was the blueprint, because when you sit back and look at a lot of 2000 albums, they wasn't selling to Confessions. No. It's crazy because when I look at the records that Usher did, he was the first Black artist of the decade to have 2 of the biggest #1 singles from 2000, 2009. That record had broken because of Usher. The last time that even happened was with the Beatles in 1964. So it took 40 years for Usher to do that. And I was like, are you serious? A Black man at that.
Come on, Dart Jr. Yes.
Usher did that. And then what's crazy, Lisa, that Usher was the only album, Confessions was the only album to go diamond. It took 7 years for another album to go diamond. And that was Adele in 2011.
Yeah, I know that.
I did that. Was holding a diamond album in 2004. Nobody can even get a diamond album. Not even Mariah.
It was so crazy that, 2000, once Usher kind of changed, because that's the impact of this album. I think once it came out, people started to be like, yo, I can do like straight R&B albums. I don't got to worry about doing this crossover shit. That's why in 2005, we got some great motherfucking albums, R&B albums, like the Mariah, like the Mary, like, you know what I mean? Jamie Foxx, Unpredictable, Voice Wide Room. But, and then, okay, but we got true R&B albums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just and mind you, this is during the time again when that Crunk and B was really starting to catch fire. Because I think with and I was telling the sister before we got on, I was like, I think opened the door for Goodies to do what it did.
It did, because it's funny you said that. I gotta bring up another fact, y'all. Y'all know I'm a fun fact person.
Yes.
No, you are correct, JR. They said, I forgot, I think it was Billboard. Billboard had said because of Usher's album, 12 R&B singers had the #1 Billboard Hot 100 of 2004. 12 R&B artists. So Usher's Confession album is a huge impact on R&B. I mean, another thing too, it did, R&B was something like hotcakes. It was something so big, it sold 667 million records of that year.
Wow.
So he was the head honcho of Crunk and B, if you think about it. But yeah, it was 12 R&B artists that had the #1 spot in Billboard Hot 100. He was.
And this is what, when it comes to Confessions with this album too, I know Jermaine Dupri and Brian Michael Cox and Jonte Austin had the big singles. But it bugs me out sometimes when everybody talks about Confessions, they go straight to them. You know what I mean? Like, now that Usher's coming out with this Confessions 3, which he should leave the hell alone. But everybody's like, oh, Jermaine Dupri and Brian Michael Cox and all of them is doing the whole album. It's not gonna work, because you need what's their name? Dre and Duvall. You need, what I'm saying, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. You might not need Robin Thicke. You know what I'm saying? You might not. But again, you need, Dre and Duvall. They get 3 joints. You got Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis that did about 5-6 joints. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you can't do that. And it bothers me that everybody just talk about the Brian Michael Cox and Jonte Austin, which they did big songs. Or Burn wouldn't have been big. Confessions Part 2 wouldn't have been huge.
Yeah.
Fine. You need those singles, but you need also them album tracks to help, put this album together.
Bring it all together.
I'm like, if you're going to talk about Confessions, let's talk about all of them. Like we talked about Throwback, Just Blaze. You got to talk about them. Throwback is a monster, yo. Like, you can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't forget about them. You know what I mean? So it just bothers me. I just had to say that. It just bothers me.
I agree, and that's why, JR, for me, I don't go like I said, Burn will forever be one of my top 3 favorite songs.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that's not gonna be what I want to hear all the time on the album. I want to hear That's What It's Made For. I want to hear Can You Handle. I want to hear Take Your Hand. I want to hear that one. You know what I'm saying?
Rich Harrison, yes.
Yeah, and I think Bad Girl kind of mixed to me, like they sound kind of alike to me. But I feel like for me, I like the album because more than I like the singles. No shade, but it's true.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it was played a lot. But for me, I love going to Can You Handle It. I love going to those sensual, sexy songs. I like seduction shit. That one right there, that's the reason why I bought the special edition, because of seduction.
Seduction is oh my God, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis once again, like, blessed him with that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. So, okay. So now I'm gonna get y'all. If y'all gotta take on one song, what would it be?
My Boo.
No, that's too easy. No, that's special edition shit. That's special edition shit.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know what you was including.
We gonna get to that.
Okay.
That one. Yeah.
I just had to say it out loud.
I know you did.
I agree. Child, they play that. They got on my nerves.
No, My Boo is such an awful song.
It's awful. They both sound bad on it. I think I don't know who wrote it. So sorry to you, but
Brian Michael Cox.
Well, Brian Michael Cox, that's not. I don't.
Oh no. Brian didn't write it. You know who wrote that? I'm sorry. Jermaine Dupri's dad.
Oh, that's a lie.
Yeah, Manuel and Adonis. Adonis wrote that. Adonis. Adonis and Manuel Seal.
That's cute.
Yeah, the beat is awful. Like, it's just I think again that song got big because of Alicia Keys was huge, Usher was huge.
Yeah,
put both of these huge people together, everybody's gonna go buy it. Period.
Yeah,
that's just what it was. But yes, so if y'all had to pick a song, what would it be? Not special edition.
Oh, you sick bastard.
Me.
If I had to delete one,
Yeah.
I could delete one. The intro.
That's cute. That's cute. You picked the interlude. That's cute.
No,
No,
intro.
that don't count. No.
Get us this. No, a song, not an intro or interlude. You tried it, yo.
That was so cute. I can't even. It was adorable.
So adorable. So adorable.
For the people out there, it's still a song. If I had to delete one.
Yes.
If I had to delete one, I think it would be Follow Me.
Wow, really?
I like Follow Me. Shout out to Ryan Pooh Bear and all of them, but it's not something that, because it's literally at the end of the album.
Yeah.
And I'm all into the album like that. It to me, regardless, it's still a great song, but for me, I wouldn't even care for Follow Me.
That's what I was gonna say. Follow Me.
Yeah.
What we gonna do now? Throw it down on the floor. No. You know what?
But like what I say about on was it Janet? What album? I was like, but it's the last song of the album, so
yeah. You did it. Yeah, you did.
It's not hurting nothing. It's just there being extra and ungood by itself.
You know what song that I would get rid of? Not because y'all know Burn. I'm not, but you gotta have that. You have to. It's a must. I would let go. Take Your Hand.
I'm shocked you said that, y'all. And I thought about it, but I was like, Take Your Hand reminds me of Bad Girl and the mixture of that.
Okay. And it's crazy because they use How I Met in the Blue Note sample.
They did.
You know what I'm saying? And you think, but if I had to, I can go to that because I remember playing the album. And when I got to that record, I was like, okay.
I like that song.
Yeah, like it was like for me, I was like, I like it, but I was like, okay. But when I got to Follow Me,
but the album don't need it. The album don't have to have it. So that you know.
Right. So,
but it's not hurting anything.
Yeah. So, what do y'all think about the impact of this album as far as with you and your families and stuff like that? Because I got a good one for y'all. But what's y'all impact as far as that in your lives and stuff?
It was huge. I will say for me, and I've even told Ryan this, like for a 14-year-old to even be touched by that album and be playing it over and over, not even that to see my 7 to 8-year-old cousin singing Usher songs. I'm like, wait a minute, they weren't even thought about when Usher came out. I'm already singing Usher. But I feel for me, when Usher came here, I feel like he was my Michael Jackson at that time. He was really my Michael. I have to really be honest, because even though I wasn't in the era of Thriller, I felt like this was the Thriller that I wanted to see for a young Black man to do what he did. I felt that Usher was really finna take, he did take the R&B and pop world by storm, but I love how the way they didn't just label R&B for us at that time. We were just music. You know what I'm saying? It was just everything. And that's why I feel about Usher at that time. And then not even that, he was part of my freshman year in high school. So I can't take those memories away. That was just something that we were coming out of. My teacher, shout out to him, love him to this day. The white man said he couldn't stand Usher, but for him knowing about Usher, it go to show you he was touching every demographic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wasn't about that. So I was like, Usher killing the game. And I was proud to see him have his Michael moment for me.
Yeah. For me, I think it was the age that he hit. He hit every age for me because everybody in my family loved this album. Everybody. And I mean me, my mom, my dad, my grandparents. Like, he hit them. They singing That's What It's Made For, even though they know what it means. But to have your grandparents singing this record, it's like, oh. And we're all in the car singing it together. So they looking at me because mind you, I'm only 17. They like, well, what you know about that? And I'm looking at them like, well, ain't y'all too old to be singing a record like this? So to know that Usher, like any trip that we would go on, and y'all know my dad was a big hip hop head. So for him to love this record, you know what I mean? And me and my brother Vernon this is our, you know, this was his junior year. This is my senior year. So we out here partying and doing all this. And for this album to really, we all in the car and we're heading somewhere and everybody's singing all of these songs. And it's like, wow, Usher, this is what music can bring families together. You know what I mean? This album, even though he was talking about a fucked up situation, cheating on his girl and getting caught and all this kind of stuff, but with everybody singing along and it's happy and all this, and it brings me back to memories when all my family was here. They were here. My dad was still here. My grandma, my grandfather, my cousin Desmond, we was all still here singing these songs. You know what I mean? Like it was just, you know what I'm saying? To hear my grandma say, what we gonna do now? Like, I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? So that, and then the impact that because to me, I think Usher should have got the Grammy for the album of the year, for sure. Like he should have. You know what I mean? He had the biggest album of 2004. You know what I mean? And for them to give that to, what's her name? Norah Jones, which, okay. I mean, but if we're going to be technically, he had the biggest selling album. Like, why didn't he win? He won in all the R&B categories, but he couldn't give him nothing in the major categories. You know what I mean? Like, and then they did it again the next year with Mariah. So it was like, again, that's why I don't give a damn about these Grammys. Support NAACP, support Soul Train, support BET, support our Black Film Awards, support Image, like support these awards, because as much as we try to cross over to them, we still don't get the respect. Usher broke records and broke this and couldn't get the major categories. That should tell you, because he went to the Grammys because everybody was like, album of the year is yours. We know it, like it's yours. And he went there and didn't get it. And he left with 3. He left with only 3, and they were all in R&B categories. And one of them was for my boo, y'all.
I know.
I'm sorry, sis. I'm with you though.
That song's an industry plant.
I agree with that. I agree.
That was a money grab right there.
A complete money grab. That's why, honestly, you like the special edition, sis, but I love the original version that came out March 23rd. You know what I mean? Like, give me that. And I don't need nothing else. I don't need even though I love Seduction. I love it. I love Seduction. I love that record. You know what I mean? When they put the Confessions 3 on there with Shine and Trista, and Shine was in jail rapping over the phone, I said, come on, y'all. Like, come on.
That was the worst. Oh my God. Oh God.
Girl, I was like,
is this really happening? Is this really happening right now?
I listened at the day and I barely could hear Shine. I said, girl, this really did happen. I'm like, damn.
And they put it on the album. I'm like, y'all could have kept that for some mix.
And they was hyping it up because that was on all the
good shit.
That absolute part. I was like, come on, y'all. Like, y'all can keep that special edition. Like y'all said, it was a money grab. You're going to throw My Boo. You're going to throw Red Light. Because Red Light was cool. I like what Usher actually did with the videos. You know what I'm saying? He put them all together and it was a story with it and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
blah.
I like Red Light.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Little John said, I ain't done with you yet. He said, I gave you, I could give you something else. And it sounds very Little John-ish. Yeah. Shout out to Carrie Hilson. She helped write the record too. So, and Sean Garrett, right?
I don't know if Sean Garrett. I know Carrie was on there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, this is an amazing album, yo. If you do not know about Confessions, something wrong with you. This album is the truth, like a straight R&B album, and we're all R&B lovers, and y'all got to see how much we really enjoy it because there's no mainstream shit to it.
Yeah.
Mainstream had to love it. They had no choice.
And what's dope about this conversation is you could see it through the eyes of people at a different stage of life.
You hit it right on the nail.
She drops the mic once again.
Yeah.
I wait for a moment when Elise does this every show. I'll be like, I'm waiting. And she, boop.
I don't know how I was at the clubs because I'm like, Elise, you were that age, baby. I wish I was that age to be coming out hopping in the clubs when Usher came out. I was like, I wanted to be there. And
I was in the clubs late 90s, early 2000s.
Come on.
Yeah, that was her club.
So from 97 to like like 05 maybe. Yeah.
Right. That's crazy. And
my college years is 05 to 09. So
yeah,
that's when music really changed. It was all about you.
it was all about dancing. And it's crazy, Lisa, because I was doing my research today and I wanted to see about like where did Confessions rank in the decade? And they did the Billboard greatest best 200 albums of all time in the 2000s. And y'all would never guess where they ranked Confessions.
Where?
Number 2. Y'all would never guess who was number 1.
Who?
NSYNC, No Strings Attached. I said,
Girl next. No. Because they sold that 3 million in 1 week bullshit. That's all that shit was. Motherfuckers, that label brought like 1 million copies and no. Get the fuck.
And y'all, from 2000, 2009, they put Usher number 2.
A real album.
I said, this is some BS.
You see how that dude ruins everything?
That's why we don't. That's why we don't forgive him.
We don't forgive. Janet might want us to, but I'm sorry. No.
Yeah,
No strings attached. Billboard, get the.
And it was on there, y'all. It was number 1. It be Usher.
Because they sold that 3 million in 1 week bullshit. That's all that was. That was.
I do too, but I was just very shocked. Out of the 2000s albums, they put that number 1. I said, y'all couldn't think of anybody else but NSYNC. I said,
bye.
That's why Usher was the best-selling artist. I think he was the best-selling Black artist of that decade too, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think it was him and Alicia Keys, right?
It was him. I don't know who it was. I think it was him. Nelly was like number 10.
Okay. He was big dogging too. I ain't gonna stunt with that one too.
Yeah, but Usher was. But yeah, it was. Yeah, I was very shocked when I heard he was number 2 of best-selling. I was like,
after No Strings Attached. Get the fuck out of here, yo. I'm over it. Anyway, yeah, Usher Confessions, your album is the number 1 shit. Here. We don't give a damn about that.
It's number 1 in our hearts and minds.
Hey, there it is.
But like JR and Elise, but the mainstream too, I love the article. I forgot what article it was, but they even said too, mainstream media had to accept that Confessions was not, it wasn't even the point about it being an urban album. It was just a pop. It just changed pop music forever. And I was very happy that they said that because I think the thing about it is when they learned, they realized it was like, even though everybody gravitates to it, it's an R&B album and people don't even think about being R&B because it was a big album. You know what I mean? And I was really, the mainstream got that correct.
Finally,
yeah.
Well, yes. So now we're gonna get to really, JR?
I'm sorry.
I hate this show, but we are coming to a part of the show that brings me joy, and JR doesn't want me to have joy, so that's why he's.
Oh my God!
But it brings me joy. But that is our word song association.
Yes.
And today, I'm going to name some other R&B albums that came out in 2004 and you tell me either the first word, thought, memory, song that comes to your mind, which is wherever your mind goes first.
Okay.
We're gonna do 5.
Yeah.
All right. We are gonna start off with Destiny Fulfilled. Destiny
Oh,
That's my favorite.
good one.
I got multiple words for this. Grown and sexy. Grown and sexy.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah. They
was
were grown women. Yeah.
Yeah. They were grown and sexy. That was, I mean, oh wow, at least you taking me back, girl. You know I play that album obsessively. I'm about to do this. That's how obsessed I was with that album.
Ooh, the dude this. Ooh.
Elise, I'm telling you, couldn't get me out that house, girl. I played when they talked about the album. I played the videos and I played the whole album from the beginning to the end. That's how I loved it. But to me, that was grown and sexy. I got to see my girls become women. And that's what I wanted to see from them, because I saw them when they were 15, 16, but them now in their 20s, dating and in love and just, but yeah, I would say for me, grown and sexy. That was everything. I was obsessed.
She the reason you don't call like you used to. That's my
T-shirt was the one for me.
You see, you sexual beings. You sexual beings. Y'all some sexual beings. Like, oh my God.
It was everything. Okay. Thank you. That was I thought it was my favorite girl group.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Get Lifted by John Legend came out in 2004.
Oh.
I
want to be on this show.
He was groundbreaking. He was very groundbreaking for me. I remember, even though John Legend did Lauryn Hill work, I did not know that until he became who he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this man been having a pen for how long? Ordinary People was one, but I do like how I really just felt like he was groundbreaking. He was making way. And I was really proud to see that transition, but I wish he was staying R&B, but he's changed now, sadly. But to me, Get Lifted was very, very groundbreaking. He was a guy that was breaking through. He was like, I guess, the male Alicia Keys, if you want to think about it a little bit.
Stay with you. That's where he should have stayed with R&B, but I'm gonna leave that there.
It was groundbreaking. It was very fresh to see somebody in R&B, but not in that playing the piano. But it was like, I think they were trying to get back to that soul era, but I think John Legend was coming back to that. So seeing him coming with Kanye West, having that co-sign, I was like, okay, this is probably looking now. I think he's gonna make way, but it was groundbreaking. He was very groundbreaking back in 2004.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was groundbreaking.
Yeah. Okay. This is one that we talked about a little bit in the show. Sierra Goodies. It's 2004.
Want the goodies? Like, when I think of Sierra, I think of the Princess of Crunk B. She came in the era. They always were like saying she was the new Aaliyah. But I feel that Sierra, to me, she made a lane for herself. And coming from, taking off that wave from Usher with, and then she's coming with Goodies. It's like, yeah, we finna get some fresh blood up here, young, fresh blood, a girl that can dance coming from Atlanta. And then when she came out with Goodies, it was a wrap. I mean, it was everywhere. You couldn't escape it.
Yeah.
With the girls, it was like, at least the high school kids, it was like all the dance girls and the HBCUs were playing this song. It was very,
yeah.
It was inspirational for all of us because we see this young teenage girl coming, but not even that. She's connected to the hip hop and R&B in that lane, and we're not noticing that because, true enough, God rest her soul, we had that too. But she sadly passed away. But having Sierra come in and come with Goodies and I and what Jazzy Faye did for that album, and people don't talk about him either. He deserves a lot of respect for making her who she is today. And I'm sorry, truth is truth, but he is the reason why Goodies took off the way it took us old. and all that, she created a life for herself. So
because after he got out the picture, what happened?
Her career went down. But anyway,
that part.
It's the truth. You know, he had one of the best records off Evolution. But yeah, when I think of Sierra, I think of the Princess of Country. Like, she really was a princess of country. She came and just made way. She was that girl.
Yeah.
See what Monica tried to do. My bad.
You know that's one of JR trigger words.
I was gonna say
nothing. No, I'm not saying no words. Go on, proceed.
Y'all know I love Mo. I love me some Monica. Y'all know
she gangster. She gangster, but you know.
I can't. All right. In 2004, we had, hold up, I had one picked out. I keep going back and forth.
Okay.
And you know, now that I look, a lot of albums didn't come out in 2004.
Singles.
Because they were scared at Usher confessions.
Think about it, because I'm looking at the selection of things that came, and it's not a lot of things. But I think I have forgot the year, but Jill Scott's second album came out in 2004.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Volume 2. Yeah.
With Golden. Yeah.
With Golden and Cross My Mind, all that stuff.
Yeah. I feel like she probably was, I don't know if the album got the push that it did, but I remember them playing it a lot on VH1. So
they did.
I
forgot about VH1 Soul.
I love that, baby. Yes.
I knew who a lot of people was. You wasn't getting pushed on me MTV, you're gonna get pushed somewhere.
Okay.
I would say for Jill, I don't know. I feel like Jill, that album I think it was underrated. Because that hip hop was just, at least I feel like, to me, I was connected more to the hip hop R&B than I was to the neo soul, because to me, I love Calvin Richardson. We don't talk about that.
Oh, come on, 235, baby.
My mom wore that album. I said, girl,
that was a moment.
That was a moment. Oh my God.
More Than a Woman, and I didn't even know it was on Angie's album.
Yes. But I like his version by himself.
His version, because to me, to be honest with you, I got introduced to him through his version. I didn't even know about Angie's until the album, but I was very shocked. But yeah, I think it was underrated. At least Jill was underrated. I heard the singles, but I really didn't get a chance to really get in that. I didn't really get a chance to get in the album because of the hip hop, Usher.
Gotcha. That's real.
Yeah. And I love Jill. Jill's my girl. You know, at least you love me, the live one. She can sing that in front of me and I will die. She cannot sing that.
Just fall out.
I'm gonna fall out because that's all I love from her. Like, she can sing it live. When I seen her sing it live on that video, at least it was like she had to say. I knew it was a rap. I was like, this is the Jill I want, the live version.
Yes.
I was cool with that. Cool. There.
I love it. I get excited. Anybody get excited about Jill because I'm a Jill. Whew.
Yeah.
Super fan. Not a stan though, but big old.
You a true fan.
Super nerd ass fan.
Yeah, she can just sing that.
I love her.
We love her.
Yes, give me my Jill and my Erica, and I'm a happy gal. All right, and the last one is gonna be Aphrodisiac. Andy.
I knew she was gonna do that. I knew it. I knew it. Sis, she's smart. She's kind of important.
I know that's my heart. It didn't get pushed. I'm be honest, it didn't get pushed, and it's so crazy to me because to me, Elise, Who Is She to You is everything to me. Elise, I played it over some. I would say Confessions and Who Is She to You. Those were the ones I was playing heavily over the summer. Like the way
who's on the remix.
The way Candace Nelson wrote on that pen, And I even told her this when I interviewed her. I was like, you did your thing on Who Is She to You.
But who's on the remix?
Oh, Usher. You know I knew that. Honey. You know I knew
that. Own 2004, y'all. Like,
but at least I feel like
Usher, you know, I mean, Usher was on her show.
Yeah.
It was on Moesha. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I would say for me, Aphrodisiac, not the point it didn't get pushed. I felt like it was an R&B album that was very, I want to say, I don't know if it was the timing. I just feel like to me, Aphrodisiac didn't get the recognition it should have. Because for me, it had some good records on there, like Say You Will, love that record. But Who Is She to You and Talk About Our Love, those were songs got pushed, but I just feel like I don't know, the timing wasn't there. But for me, Brandy, you know, Brandy's my everything. But
yeah.
I love Aphrodisiac for what it did and what the impact is made now to a lot of people, because I actually got to interview Brandy's dad that day when the anniversary happened. But for me, I felt like it didn't get the recognition it should have.
I agree.
Or at least say you.
Oh, I knew Elise was gonna do that for you. I knew that was gonna be the last one.
Because to me, I think about Who Is She to You. That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Who Is She to You? Because baby, I had some lying going on in my life. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah. So, how about you tell us what things you got popping currently, and if you have anything exciting coming up, just whatever you want to say about your brand.
Well, my brand, yes, everybody, you can follow me on Midnight R&B Edition on IG. Also, you can follow my podcast, The R&B Song Relationship, where I break down beautiful ballads, songs, records, and recognized relationship topics on my podcast. I'm all on streaming platforms. Also, this Saturday I got coming up, I have a big interview with the only Troy Taylor that's coming up. We're getting ready to celebrate the album that he worked on with B2K. The 20th anniversary is coming up soon. Also, what else? I got some battles coming up. I got a lot of stuff coming up. But yes, everybody, you can follow me on Midnight, the letters RMB Edition on Instagram. I'm your girl.
That thing stay busy, y'all. Busy.
Oh yeah, she's a go-getter. I love
it. I don't even start. Look.
Well, yeah. So we thank you for stopping through. Actually, like, people go back and forth on Twitter or whatever and talk about Confessions album, but I haven't seen too many like shoot, I would watch a short doc about it. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. It's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, and I would love to hear how other people feel and how it affected them. That's just my thing. I want to know how music makes other people feel. So.
Yes, I agree.
So that decade, you can't deny it.
Yeah, you can try, but you'll be wrong.
Okay.
What we gonna do now?
Okay. Yeah.
Slow it down on the floor. I love this stuff.
Yes, but we thank you, Chasity. We love what you do. Thank you for hanging out with us again, and we thank everybody who is watching. Share, subscribe, like, share us with your people, and we will catch y'all on the next episode of Catch That. Peace.